In this episode of Empyrion Galactic Survival, we're going to salvage the MS Titan Rex, and we're going to build ourselves a starter CV. The one we're going to use is one that I designed myself that could be built from just parts salvaged from those MS Titan Rex. So if you want to follow in my footsteps in this episode, you're going to need to subscribe to that blueprint. Get into Steam and go to the Steam Workshop page for Empyrion Galactic Survival. And then in the search box, just type Alpaca. There's only one CV, Alpaca. Here it is. Just click that subscribe button, and then start up Empyrion, and my Alpaca CV will be in your Blueprints menu. I don't have to click subscribe because I have the original blueprint in my game already. But you have to click subscribe. So here we are at the Crash Titan mid part. I'm almost ready to start salvaging. I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rundown on some stuff that I did first. I've prepared some multi-charges and some drill charges because I believe I'm going to need both of these. I hope I have enough multi-charges, but if not, I brought along some extra promethium. I made myself a dozen energy bars and some berry juice for health, although I also have health kits. One thing that I don't really know is where are the other parts of the Titan? This is the mid part. But where are the other parts? These aren't them. That isn't it. I do see some arcs on my mini-map towards the north. I kind of have the suspicion that the other wrecked parts of the Titan are somewhere around here, so I'm going to go and find those, and hopefully be able to cut you guys back in when I do. Once we know where all three parts are, I'll throw a little timer down at the bottom of the screen. We'll see how fast I can earn the parts to get the Alpaca. Okay, there's the back section of the Titan, and it looks like we have discovered the front as well. Good deal. I think we're all set to go. Since we're right here at the front, I guess we might as well start here. I'm going to sleep through the night. As soon as I get up, I'm going to pick up my tent, slap a core onto the Titan front, and get to salvaging. As soon as that core goes on, notes to future me, future self, you put the time code down at the bottom, alright? Here we go. One little note here. Note that I am using the retrieve blocks rather than the salvage. When you retrieve blocks on something that you have put your own core on, you get 100% of the resources back. That's important. We don't want to lose any of the neodymium or the cobalt or other rare ores in this ship. We need every one of them. So make sure that you retrieve blocks and don't salvage. And make sure you put a core on it. Lights and doors actually have silicon and copper, so it's actually worth retrieving them to throw them into the factory later. They will help us get the copper and the silicon that we need. It's interesting to note that there are grow lights here. One might think that maybe, oh yes, there might be farming plots. Very interesting indeed. Although you don't have to use these farming plots, I am going to pick up 14 of them, which will be enough to fully garden out my Alpaca. You don't have to do this, but the option is always there. Okay, that's a fairly good quick run-through of the inside. Why don't we actually start dumping some of this stuff into the factory? to factory, and hardened steel blocks will contribute to our sathium and our iron. This will contribute to, I believe, silicon, and maybe to iron as well. Lights will contribute to silicon. Even destroyed steel blocks will contribute to iron. Automatic doors contribute to copper and silicon, I think. And deco consoles, of course, contribute to just plain silicon. Alright, so far so good. I will pick up these elevators later, but not for the moment. They do contain silicon and copper. But for the moment, I actually want to go downstairs and look at some things down there. But first, why don't we pick up the last of the grow plots that are hidden under the dirt here? In total, 33 glow plots. Very nice. And I think at this point we need to start using the control panel, which we have access to because we put our own core. And we will find the thrusters and the other goodies via the control panel. So you can see that there are a couple of thrusters hidden here. It's like 2 small thrusters and a medium thruster. So let us hit Show on HUD, Show on HUD, and Show on HUD. And while we're at it, let's show the doors on the HUD as well, since those are worth collecting too. The rest of the stuff, it's not as big a deal. We don't actually have to get it. Let's start with the medium thruster, because that's going to give us the most. Small thruster, automatic door, small thruster. Thruster slant medium over there. That's the big prize. Let's grab him first. Very good. Now, let's take him off the actual HUD, because we've gotten him. I guess the small thruster should probably be our next target. Okay, small thruster, medium thruster, very good. Hope we can jetpack up out of here, but if not, we'll dig our way out. Thinking it is. Boy, that looks like the bottom of a grow plot. I think I missed a grow plot. Nope, just a hardened steel block with a strange texture. Alright. And we got both small thrusters, so let's take them off the map. We'll go ahead and dump what we've got into the factory. Looks like our Neo is going up, which is great, as well as our Cobalt. So far, so good. And we'll dump some of this crap in here. Why not? Alright. Let's dig down a little bit, see if there's any easy pickings on the lower levels. Well, I could dig this whole thing out, but I don't think there's anything really, really good here, so let's just go back up to the top here. We'll pick elevator blocks on our way down, and then we'll come up and pick elevator blocks as we come up through there. And we'll chuck this stuff in the factory too. This should give us copper and silicon. Same deal with the doors. Alright. So far, so good. We could spend a lot of time taking down all the blocks here, but I think we're better off doing that at the either back part or one of the other parts, so let's just go get our hover vessel and move on to the next part. Now the back part of the Titan I want to save for last because it has the most and the largest thrusters. It's going to be the most complicated part to pull stuff off of. So we are going to go back to the mid part. The last time I was here there was a creature called a Spooky hanging around. Jesus Christ, did that thing scare the fuck out of me. Oh, good job, Elion. Those things are fucking crazy. Alright, same deal again. We'll take a quick trip through, trying to grab any kind of equipment or other stuff that might buff our copper and silicon counts. Oh, really? There was a drill waiting for me here the whole time? God damn you, Elion. Windows have silicon. Worth throwing them in as well. The wood planks is to make a bed, so if we throw the bed in here, we'll just get our bed. Very good. One down. Quite a few more to go. Okay, I think that's a pretty good first run through. Let's go ahead and get the thrusters up on our map, and we will go down into the dirt looking for some thrusters. Ah, here he is. I think all of a sudden, perhaps you understand why it was I wanted a good drill before I went in here to salvage these thrusters. Okay, that's all the thrusters. Let's take a break and dump this stuff into the factory. Again, we're watching our cobalt and neodymium counts go up, stuff that's otherwise very hard to obtain. Silicon from the windows. Iron from these guys, and hardened steel blocks give us saphium and iron. Crushed stone, I'm afraid, is just trash. Well, it might contribute to carbon substrate. Let's see. Didn't think so. The mid part that we're in here actually has stairways running down to a bunch of storage lockers. So let us go back upstairs and we will find stairways, and we will go down and take a quick look in the storage lockers. Why not? It's easy, quick, and we might get a little cobalt out of it. I wonder if I should try and salvage these guys. We will salvage one of these and see if the pieces parts contribute. Indeed they do. And the multi-tools contribute as well. Amazing. Copper. Very good. Looks like the other side is going to be more of a pain in the ass to get to. I saw some capacitor devices in there. That's good. Those capacitor devices contain oscillators, which means they contain Neo. It's going to help out with our Neo counts. Watch the Neo go up. Motors have copper and silicon. Nanotubes have silicon. Good, good. Alright, I'd say we're done here. Again, we could spend a lot of time salvaging hardened steel blocks, but we're going to save that for last. And we're going to head over to the rear section and get some real thruster action going on over there. Back section is by far the most complicated. In addition to having the most thrusters, it also has a couple of Tier 2 RCSs that are absolutely crucial because of the amount of rare elements they have, including Neo. Oh, hello. Oh, really? Oh my god, dude. Force fields especially contain so much good stuff. When I empty one of these, I usually try and take it out, so I don't get confused about it again. Alright, I'd say that's pretty good for just a basic walkthrough. Let's go ahead and dump some stuff into the blueprint. That's a lot of copper. Alright, we're over on copper. We made our copper goal. Capacitor devices have Neo in them. Energy matrices have cobalt. Copper. I believe these have cobalt in them. Tech equipment, silicon, computers, silicon. I don't know if the pistol upgrade kit has anything good. Guess so. As I recall, force fields have some really crazy stuff in them, so let's see what happens here. Nice. Well, we're well over our silicon goal, so we can stop collecting lights and other things with silicon in them. We're also over our copper goal, so we can stop collecting stuff with copper in it. Our big focuses now should be Sath and iron, but keep an eye on Neo, because that's what we're going to use thrusters and RCSs for. Hardened steel has Sath and iron. Armored doors should have iron. We're over on silicon. Let's see if these contribute anyway. Yep. Let's find us some thrusters. There's a lot of them in the sky. Well, there's a small thruster pretty close. I guess we'll just kind of work our way forward. Go ahead and keep the clock running as we sleep through the night. It won't take very long. Looks like the only two things left on this side are this T2 RCS and a thruster up there, so let's try and grab these before we head on over to the other side. In one of these chambers, I'm not sure which one it is or where, there is another secret container, but I can't remember which one it is, where the container is. Aha! Oh, wow. Well, we're gonna go way over on Cobalt, dudes. In fact, let's stop and dump some stuff in right now. We should see our Neo, Cobalt, and perhaps Sathium go through the roof with the addition of this Tier 2 RCS. Nice. 70 Cobalt ingots. Brings us up to 237. Force fields definitely contribute some Cobalt as well. Couple large thrusters. Couple small thrusters. Oh, look how close we are on Cobalt. Look how close. Hardened steel is Sath. Know if armored windows contribute anymore? Oh, they still do. Okay. Still got a long ways to go on iron, so we can throw that in there too. We're over on copper. Don't have to add any more copper. This is just iron. Not very much at that. Hardened steel plate has Sath. And truss blocks are just iron. We're making good progress. I'm happy. Let's go ahead and go down the elevator, and we'll head for that stuff 30-40 meters away. So those are the last two RCSs. Let's take them off the map. So it looks like we have 2 large thrusters and 1 medium. Go back down and grab those guys. Ooh. They're not kidding when they said large thruster. Whew. we have salvaged all the thrusters and all the RCSs off all 3 parts of the MS Titan. Let's dump all this into the factory. This should give us all of our Neo, all of our Cobalt, and any other rare non-Sathium, non-iron that we need. Small thrusters, a medium thruster, a couple RCSs, and finally the big boys. Alright, you can see we need a few more carbon substrate, and the rest of us, it is all Sathium and iron. We've even gone over our Neo by a little bit, which is fantastic, and gone over our Silicon by quite a lot. Cobalt as well, we're 100 over on Cobalt. Excellent stuff. So, Sathium and iron both come from hardened steel, and what this means is that we just start pulling up hardened steel blocks and dumping them into the factory. The hard part, the neodymium and the cobalt, is done. Tell you what, let's go up into the bridge tower part of this POI. One special note of caution about this area up here. If you haven't done the Robinson Protocol, then you need to not disassemble this stuff, because part of the Robinson Protocol, Ancient Revelations, I think it's Ancient Revelations, is that you need to find some stuff in these cabinets. So don't disassemble this if you haven't finished that part of the Robinson Protocol, or if you care about doing the Robinson Protocol. Can't believe I haven't had to refill my multi-tool yet. That's insane. They have totally changed the multi-tool ammo usage since the last time I played this, Alpha 8. Now at this point, we just start pulling whole blocks out, and if you want to be more careful about this, you can hit the N as in Nancy, and debug Show Structural Integrity. You always want to take the reddest blocks first, because the reddest blocks are the ones that are in the most danger of falling down. As you take the red blocks out, everything becomes more stable, and you'll be able to pull stuff out faster. My general rule is you work from the center of the roof outward towards the edges of the roof, then you just bring down the walls. Hey! Finally having to reload the multi-tool. Alright, that's pretty much the roof down. Let's pause for a sec and drop some of this hardened steel into the blueprint factory. 160 hardened steel blocks. Ooh, that just took us up about 400 Sath and iron, so we do that twice more, we're probably going to be there. Carbon substrate is still looking a little iffy. We may have to go find some more consoles or elevator blocks or something along those lines. Yeah, really starting to use the multi-charges now. These hardened steel blocks have 1,000 hit points apiece, and they really eat up the multi-tool charge. Alright, let's stop and dump some more into the factory. Oh ho! We're over on iron! Check it out! And it looks like we only have about 5 more Sath before we're there. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to get carbon substrate. We need a little less than 30 more. And window blocks, I think, only contain iron and silicon, and we're over on both. I'm wrong, they contain Sathium. Look at that, we're over on Sathium. Okay, we just have to try and scratch up some carbon substrate, which is probably going to be easiest to get just by picking up random consoles scattered around the ship, and then we'll be all set. Also, look at our production time. Because we put whole armored steel blocks into there, we've cut our production time down to nothing. That was a 15-minute production time, and now it's 1 second. Actually, I'm going to stop the timer right there, and I'll tell you why. It turns out that there actually is not enough carbon substrate in all of the Titan wrecks to build this blueprint. This is actually hilariously ironic for reasons I'll get into in just a minute, but I just wanted to let you know, just more than an hour, you can salvage all the stuff you need from the Titan wrecks to make this blueprint, except for 15 carbon substrate, which you will need 1 log and 5 crushed stone to make. This is quite hilarious. The last thing I thought was that it would be plastic raw material, or carbon substrate as it's called now, that would be the thing that would actually block us. This stuff is so easy to make, it's just wood and stone dust. We may have to go back to the Titan mid part just to find some consoles, just to get that last little 25 points worth of carbon substrate. Oh, the irony. Okay, so we need 25 carbon substrate, and we're going to dump 2 deco consoles in here. We're at 236. Oh, there's only 1 carbon substrate per. We're not going to make it. Wow. I was wrong, guys. You can't make this blueprint just from things in these wrecks, because there's not enough carbon substrate. I never would have guessed. I never ever would have guessed that it was carbon substrate that would kill you. Wow. That is wild. You know what the really funny thing is? The reason that there's so much carbon substrate in there is because I pulled the grow plots out and I put carbon substrate in there instead so that people wouldn't be forced to put grow plots in it. And that's why there are 14 large blocks made of carbon substrate in there. That's why it needs so much carbon substrate. If I hadn't altered the blueprint to try to make it more user-friendly, ironically, because of the 33 steel grow plots we salvaged from the mid part of the Titan, we would have been able to build the blueprint from only stuff that's in the Titan wrecks. But because I took the growing plots out, now I've actually hoisted myself to my own petard. Oh, this is just too hilarious, man. This is just too funny. Alright, I'm going to call it right there, and I'm just going to say I was wrong. Because I took out the grow plots and put in carbon substrate blocks so that people wouldn't be forced to put in grow plots, which are difficult to find and require cobalt to manufacture, I've actually made it so you can't build this blueprint just from things that you salvage from the Titan wrecks. If I had put the grow plots in, you would, but I took them out to try and make it easier for people, and so you can't. So you're actually going to have to go harvest wood and stone and make yourself 16 carbon substrate before you can complete the blueprint? We'll go home, we'll do that, and then I'll spawn the blueprint in for you guys to see.